All right, so we're gonna hit record and we'll get started. Hey, good evening, everyone. So grateful that you came here tonight. My name is Dr. Brett Brimhall. I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm excited that you're here tonight to share a little time with us. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, wherever you might be. You know, I'm here because 7 years ago, I had something change in my life. I spent the last 25 years training physicians all over Canada, Europe, in the United States. And I thought that would be the kind of story of my life, continue to teach physicians and treat patients. My dad and I are part of a system we call the 6 Steps to Wellness, which is over 40 plus years of his practice. We developed a way of looking at the whole person. And he had a nutritional formulator. He's formulated over 200 different products. And so when Lifevantage found me, and I'm gonna ask you tonight, like, what is going on in your life that's led you to somebody inviting you to be on this? Because I was introduced to this because I was working with a young man, a young little boy that was struggling. His life consisted of literally spending 35 hours a week working with therapists, working on behavior, working on his ability to learn, remember, recall, his ability to just be socially able to interact with peers. And struggling. I started working with him at 3. I worked with him every week for a year, and he struggled. Little tiny improvements, which was normal. And I still remember his mom coming in one day and said, "Look, report cards came in, and he's got an older brother, and his older brother got straight A's, and he just tells his mom, look, I just want to be smart like my brother." And that really, truly, like, broke my heart on the inside as a father of 4 kids, thinking, here this mom is doing everything she possibly can, and this family doing everything they can to help this little guy, and still struggling. Shortly thereafter, his mom gave him a product that you'll know about tonight called AXIO that literally unlocked this little boy, and where 11 days later he came in and something has shifted in him. And it opened up my eyes to the possibility that maybe there's some different technology that we could use to unlock people's health in a different way. So tonight, you're gonna learn about a company. You learn about some products that are tied to that company, a very unique technology, and how we're using those to help people regain their health. And then you're gonna learn about a way in which we share it with others, and a way this may create some options for you in your life. So sit back, enjoy, and we'll kind of fill in the gaps. So Lifevantage began years ago in a laboratory, like literally in the 1960s. Dr. Joe McCord, he was part of a research team that discovered a molecule known as superoxide dismutase. Short answer, this is the massive cleanup enzyme in our body. And it's literally like the difference between if you have a fire in your house, the difference of having a disky cup of water pouring on it versus like the fire department coming in and then dumping it out. This process that he was studying led to him looking at how do we help the body manufacture more of this molecule to fight off what's known as oxidative stress. So in the environment, we call that rusting. So when metal oxidizes, it's called rust. When humans, we call it aging. From that led him to studying for a year, literally a couple of decades, to develop a product known as the Little YellowActivator. And I'm going to show you a clip of a video that was aired clear back in 2005. And if you have never seen this before, I've never heard about the concept of oxidative stress, or maybe the concept that your body could, in fact, produce more of this if the switches were turned in the right way, you're not alone, right? But just like the iPhone and other things like that has changed how we are able to do things, this changes what your body's capacity and potential is. And this has led to where we are today, and I'll kind of fill in the gaps in there. So watch this quick short video. If you want the longer one, just get with the person that invited you. But I want you to pay attention in this video of who has oxidative stress, what kind of problems that causes in people, and what this Little YellowActivator was able to do to this individual's blood work in a very short period of time. So here we go.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment. For me, it begins with a blood test.
It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company.
They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing. The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells.
So, doctor, how often do I take these?
And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us. Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age, but taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. So just what's in this seemingly incredible pill? Well, actually, its roots are very humble. Protandim is a combination of 5 plant ingredients. Some you may know: green tea or turmeric, a spice used in Indian cooking. Others, Withania somnifera and Silybum marianum, are more exotic. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma, all of these, strokes, heart attacks.
Even mental disease,
Yes,
depression.
Alzheimer's disease, depression.
But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically. Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after. Have we turned back the clock? Maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed.
We do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. And I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe. For more, go to our website at abcnews.com.
All right. So I want to point out a couple of things that I got from that when I watch it. All right. So a couple of things. Number one, who has oxidative stress? The answer is everyone. Okay. Number two is that no matter who you are, typically the older you are, the more oxidative stress you have. Number three, in 2 weeks, his oxidative stress dropped by 45%. All right. And every person on the planet has oxidative stress. So my question to you is, how long are you going to wait to address the oxidative stress that's going on in your body? And for every individual, how they feel and how they experience oxidative stress is dependent upon them. So think about your family, your loved ones, maybe even your family history, and the rate at which those conditions or problems are showing up. I know I look at my practice, are showing up in younger and younger people because oxidative stress or stress in general is much higher. So we have to find ways to combat. So John Quinones, before Protandim NRF2, he was already showing signs of oxidative stress in his blood work, right? And after just 2 weeks on it, it reduced by 45%. So what will your body be able to feel, and what will it be able to experience as oxidative stress continues to drop, right? And if you do that long enough, what really can the body change? Because what you're feeling right now and how you're experiencing health, or maybe a lack thereof, is the result of how well your different systems are working together. And if you had the ability to improve those systems, would you be willing to do it? Now, when that aired clear back in 2005, hardly anybody saw it, right? But over $5 million in orders came in overnight. But this company at the time was very small, biotech company ran by a group of physicians, really, and scientists. And so most of those orders went unfulfilled. because they didn't know how to capture that. They couldn't make enough product. So unfortunately, some of those products, some of those orders were never fulfilled because they never had enough product to get to them. But they were a bunch of scientists, so universities from the globe that they knew saw the report as well. Say, hey, we want to study your particular product because we think that what we're studying relates to oxidative stress. We wonder if this would be helpful. So if you go to a place called PubMed.gov and you type in oxidative stress, and any particular condition, you're gonna see a high correlation. There's hundreds of thousands of studies talking about oxidative stress in relationship to human disease, okay? Then type in Protandim and look at the different studies, 30 of them plus now, that associate positive findings in how Protandim, NRF2, is improving the human experience. So do that homework for yourself, right? So, but what that's led to now is studies all across the globe confirming what they found in this first study, that Protandim NRF2, this little yellow activator, decreases the oxidative stress in the body. And you can take the benefit of it now or later. To me, the results that I want for my health today and long-term, it's critical that I address oxidative stress. So to give you a little perspective of why this is such a big deal, everything in your environment that creates stress, physical, emotional, biochemical, leads to more oxidative stress. The more oxidative stress, the faster things break down, right? I live in the state of Arizona. If I leave stuff out in the sun, it's gonna break down faster than if it was inside, right? No matter where you are, you're having it going on. Now this happens because the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe, too much or too little exercise, all these toxins around us, both the things we see, right, that we can breathe in, and the things we can't see, like Wi-Fi, EMFs, and many, many other things. And this is affecting everybody on the planet, okay? So when you look at oxidative stress, you'll find all these different conditions that are associated with it. So my question to you again is, what are you doing to control the oxidative stress burden on your body? And if there was a better way, a more efficient way, would you want to take advantage of it, right? That's what this Protandim NRF2 does, right? So literally, we can say it shows that lowers oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days. It does that by turning on the body's basically assembly line to produce these big enzymes, these big cleanup crew. I have 4 kids, right? And if they work together, we get a lot more done. Inside your body, inside the cells, if these are not working good, you're gonna have dysfunction that leads to this all sorts of other problems that you don't want, and you're maybe not even going to feel it at first, and then eventually you feel it. Because unfortunately, a lot of the problems that we face today that people feel have been going on for a long time. For instance, Alzheimer's, for one. We know that Alzheimer's, the process of Alzheimer's starts 20 plus years before any type of symptom shows up. So it's dangerous in my mind to not address the system underneath this to optimize your human experience, but also to protect yourself from what's going on and what you cannot see. It's made up of 5 plant extracts, right? The certifications on it, I'd love to have, because that shows that what we have is protected by patents, but also it's going to be the same no matter what. Because I've literally watched clients of mine, patients that I've taken care of for over a decade. Plus, I'm watching them go through the process where their body's improving in ways that I never thought was possible, with everything that I've done before, right? And I'm the doctor's doctor, so I'm the one out there teaching the clinicians, right? And I've watched them, when we apply this technology, where their body is continually improving, not just not getting worse, but continually improving from things that I never thought was possible. And that's because we're addressing the process, the system. Now, what I love about Lifevantage is that because it was born at a laboratory, they had the ability to test and to show that it reduced that oxidative stress, vastly different than what we had in the past. In the past, we said, hey, you eat your fruits and vegetables, right? Take your vitamins and minerals, which is important to do, right? But here's the difference. In order to get the benefit, the cleanup process of a Protandim NRF2, you literally have to eat 400 oranges a day, or 500 cups of broccoli, right? 110 cups of blueberries, right? Because that's the amount of antioxidants you would need to have in order to match what a Protandim NRF2 does, right? To get that perspective, the only way you're really going to put a fire out on a house that the fire's on the inside is to get the water on the inside. So for inflammation to be controlled in the body, it has to be inside the cell, not outside the cell. And so these switches that are turned on by Protandim NRF2 turned on those switches on the inside of the cell, so the control can happen where it should be on the inside of the cell to make the change, right? This is how big a deal it is. So when you look at this science, and here's the fact, right? Maybe it's okay. We're 2021, almost 2022. You know, this began in 2003 was when Protandim NRF2 was developed. 2005, ABC does the report, right? Most people still don't have any idea that this exists. Here's the matter of a fact. Typically, from the time something is discovered to the time it's used in medicine is 17 plus years. We're just past that mark. So as people begin to understand what this capacity does, this is what now science is showing. So remember, 2003 is developed, 2005, ABC, 2015, Washington State University looked at NRF2 activation, specifically this pathway, and say, hey, look, NRF2 activation is potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine, right? Think of how big that is. So potentially the most extraordinary therapeutic was something which therapy means to treat, and prevention means just that, breakthrough in the history of medicine. So are you taking advantage of that? Do you even know that's a possibility? Well, Lifevantage didn't stop with just Protandim NRF2. They said, hey, if there are these assembly lines in the body, if there's these pathways, are there ways that we could perhaps look at other ones that are important and address them? It's exactly what they were doing. So when you look at the major reason why we break down as humans, it's because we don't repair fast enough. We have too much inflammation. That's the Protandim NRF2 pathway. The other one is our bodies don't make energy enough, right? So it doesn't have enough energy in order to handle the onslaught that's going on. So Protandim NRF1 controls the mitochondria of the body. That's the energy producing. Those are the powerhouses. And when that works right, your body can make energy. Think of that as making money to do repair, right? When that happens, your cells are going to function at peak performance. They can repair faster, you have better quality of sleep. Your mitochondria can actually network better, right? And it can help protect your genes, right? All which is super critical, okay? Then there's another pathway called the NAD pathway, okay? Or it eventually turned into a molecule known as sirtuins. So if you've heard of this concept of intermittent fasting, this is that pathway, right? So when you fast, it increases this particular molecule known as sirtuin. Well, Protandim NAD works on that pathway. And when that happens, and literally guys, NAD drops drastically as we age. And your mitochondria cannot work without NAD, right? That's your powerhouses. But you find that as the body has better sirtuin levels, better mental focus and concentration, more positive mood and motivation, more mental and physical energy, supports that normal inflammatory response, helps maintain cholesterol in a normal range, and it helps improve the vascular system, right? So, and we know that it increases sirtuin activity 100% in 24 hours, right? So where are yours at if you're not doing that? And how might that be influencing your body, not only how you feel, but how you're functioning, but also how your body can repair? Here's what's fascinating though. What happens, or what could happen, if you combine all three? So here's a study that was done looking specifically at how in which the pathways work together. So think of it like this, like when you have a good team working together, how much more effective than individually. So what this down at the bottom just showed, it shows a particular gene. So think of it as an assembly line, right? And how efficient is that system, all right? So this one here, this is the system that controls antioxidants, right? And detoxification. What they found was the Protandim NRF2, the gray, improved the assembly line when it was added by 40%. But when they combined it with NRF1, which is energy production, and NAD, or the communication part of the cells, it went from a 40% up to almost an 80%. All right, well, this other gene, looking at inflammation, went from 50% to 838% when combined. And that was across the board, whether they just started with NRF1 and they added it, or NAD and added their other two. When I look at this, it reminds me of watching a patient when all of a sudden things start clicking. Their body starts responding and it starts healing the way it was designed to do. Your body absolutely is programmed to heal and to function optimally, but unfortunately, there's so much miscommunication going on in the cell because they don't have enough energy, it can't control the inflammation, or they're just not working together, that literally the tissues begin to break down and become dysfunctional. So I love the fact now that if this is a human or a mammal, I can activate these pathways and we can optimize that human performance, okay? So, but I started off talking with you guys, not talking about this, but talking about a drink, right? Because my introduction to Lifevantage, maybe it was like some of you that you had heard about this whole thing that someone had been trying to talk to you about, but you looked at the bottle, or maybe you didn't even look at it. Maybe you didn't watch the video and you're like, it's not that big a deal. That was me. I spent, since I was 14 years old, I'm 47, working in my dad's office, working with clients, working with patients, teaching physicians since I was in my late teens. And we literally could make anything we wanted. So I didn't think there was something we were missing in that department of how we formulate, because I know how painstaking my dad goes over in creating products. But when I watched this little boy that I worked and poured a ton of time and energy into, literally unfolding from my eyes, doing things that I didn't think was possible, I knew that something was fundamentally different about how these products work. And that's the key, is that we're addressing the systems of the body, activating gene pathways. And so when AXIO was developed, this is the drink, this is the brain drink, truly liquid brain food, was designed to address mental fatigue, right? So for some people, a tired brain, they feel tired, right? Or a tired brain, they might not be able to focus or concentrate. They might be bouncing around, or they might feel sad, or they might feel like agitated, right? A tired brain can make you feel all sorts of things. So when AXIO was developed with a combination of specific herbs and nutrients, it addressed that brain fatigue. When that happened, that young boy I was working with, literally, he unfolded in front of my eyes, to where he went from a special school for the second year to struggling in all sorts of areas, becoming the peer model in behavior, to eventually starting a normal school. They didn't know the diagnosis. And now coming 7 years later, this little boy is rocking at the top of this class, right? Super social, right? Because his brain is now getting what it needs in activated form. Well, this handwriting is not his. This is handwriting is my nephew's. So my nephew had many struggles as well. At this time, he was 9. He had all sorts of struggles in school with like behavior. He had a hard time focusing. I literally worked with him since the time he was born. I think I adjusted him as a little baby, and he still had struggles. When one of those kids last to get picked on recess, because he just didn't play well with other people. I had to stay in at recess a lot of times. His mom sent us this picture 2 weeks after he started taking the Protandim NRF2 and the AXIO. His handwriting on the left compared to his handwriting on the right after he was taking the AXIO NRF2. So this is the difference in how the brain was able to write letters and words, being non-activated and activated. So which way do you want your brain to perform today, and which way do you want your brain to be long-term as it handles the stress that it's going to have? This is critical that we address, because brain fatigue leads to body fatigue. And many of the problems we're struggling with today, just because of the nature of the world we're in, is due to this, right? So every product that Lifevantage is and will create is based upon this model. How do we activate the genes patterns in the body in order to get maximum benefit, depending on looking at what is unique areas in the marketplace that people need. So when you look at all the products that Lifevantage is creating, whether it's like health and longevity with the Protandim NRF1, NAD, and NRF2, or the whole skincare line, all right, or the weight management system, or the hair care, or the energy and brain focus, or the immune system, or for pets, or body care, like they're applying this technology to that, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm using products already. And if you're not familiar with an app called Think Dirty, you need to start looking at that, because many of the toxins we have are related to what we're putting on our body, in our body, and around us, all right? So this is the product Lifevantage has. And what we're doing as a group is I'm grateful that you're here, because someone cared enough about you. Maybe it's something going on in life with your health, or someone you loves health, and they're wondering if this might be helpful for you. Please look at doing it. If not, just do it, right? This is absolutely a game changer. If you're not activating these pathways, in my opinion, it's critical that you do. All right. But maybe they invited you because they want you to be part of this community with us, right? Well, 7 years ago, when I started this, what I found was a way to help patients that I had been entrusted to better than I was before, and be able to help patients that I've worked with for decades. I also found a community of people where they found we want to be able to help people across the globe. All right. And then to be able to create and have more time for my family. Well, oops, sorry, one more product. So I said the product's coming. I See Bright is the one they just barely released not too long ago. So for those of you that care about eye health, which this is the number one sense people don't want to lose, is their eyesight. So again, Lifevantage went to the drawing board, looked at and partnered with Linus Pauling Institute to create an eye product based upon this same concepts, right? A combination of very specific things in very specific ways to not only work on the physical part of the eye, the retina, but also the neurological aspect of sight, right? Phenomenal results I'm already seeing with people in applying this as part of their health. And the unique thing about Lifevantage, now they have different stacks that you can do if you're focused on, hey, I want to focus on eye health, brain health, overall body health. They put them in unique package bundles that allows you to save money, make it very easy and convenient for you to use. Now, what we're also doing here is we want to partner with individuals that this is a fit for. My wife and I today, we're kind of going over our year about where are we when it comes to our family and our finances and where do we want to go from here, right? So as you go through that the next couple of weeks, like I want you to ask yourself this question, like, am I where I want to be? And is what I'm currently doing going to get me to where I want to be? All right. And then third, are you surrounded by the people that will help you get there? They say you're the sum of the 5 closest people you spend time with. And so what we want to do is we want to use the world and leverage our relationships to build communities, to take the groundbreaking products through and build a community of like-minded people that want more from life, that want to be healthy, that want to be happy, that want to be impactful, that want to create a positive change, and that want to be able to create and to be able to be prepared for when life happens, that they have all those things in place, whether that's time, money, or a community to withstand the things that will come. So what we're doing is we're using what we call our perfect model, a laptop lifestyle, social media, and we're literally can work from anywhere. So here I am, it's the 23rd of December, and I've spent a little bit of time with you to be able to share with you what we have, because we want to partner with you. And I know people are looking for things right now. Now, maybe a lot of us kind of looking at what gifts. Well, great, use some of these as gifts for your friends and family. But there's a lot of people that at the end of the year, they're looking, okay, what am I going to do? Where I'm at right now is not where I want to be, right? Whether that's the community you're part of, whether that's the finances, or whether that's your health. We want to help build a network of people and go take this to the world, all right? Whether this is a network of consumers, I'm gonna move that picture out of the way, and a network of distributors. So when I started this 7 years ago, it was me and the person that brought me in, okay? And I've worked with her and many others to help build a network so we can impact people all over the world. So how do we do this? Well, we get paid weekly, we get paid monthly based upon helping others have success in their health and in their finances. We do that simply by sharing the information, inviting people to things like this, getting them started by inviting their friends and family to take a look at, and then work with those that want to do that with us. Now, what does that look like? Well, if you want the product, absolutely awesome. Get with the person that invited you to this. Say, hey, look, I really want to do that tri-synergizer pack. I want to activate my NRF2, my NRF1, and my NAD pathway, and I want that brain drink. Or maybe you're like, hey, look, I really care about how I look, and I want to use that whole skincare set. Great. Look at one of the packs. There are different packs you can do. But if you're like, hey, you know what? I really want to look at doing that business, right? And what does that entail? So there are different packs you can choose to start your business. Minimal investment, huge up potential. When I began my practice years and years ago, I bought my practice from my dad. I've been running it now for over 20 years. And we spent over $500,000 doing that. Guys, like literally, I have a global business now that cost me $1,000 to start, right? So the potential is huge compared to the risk, right? So how do you do the work? Well, the more you help other people have success. So I want to find people that want to do this. I want to get them to share this information with their friends and family, help them get them on the product because they're going to get great results, but then help them help their people also grow the business. And what that's allowed us to do is to take an impact and take it global. We each have different strengths. And what I love about the way we're rewarded in this company financially is by helping other people. And so the comp plan is set up that you can go as far as you want to go, but the compensation plan is set up to reward certain behaviors. 2 behaviors I love. One is what they call the generational matching, which is just this. If I have people in my group come in, and maybe they're just have never done this, or maybe the person that brought them is just barely getting started. The company rewards us to reach into that group and to help them have success. All right, coming into your group. Number two, they have what's called elite pool. What that means is no matter what group you come into, maybe you come in through a group that's in Australia, or maybe you one that's in Japan, and maybe, right, you want to go to a meeting somewhere else or invite a friend or family, somebody you know that's in the country, and you don't even know that leader that's there. Well, as a company, we share in the revenue sharing. There's 4% every month that's held aside for the top leaders, because we want, no matter where you go to in the world, no matter what meeting, no matter what leader, that you're invited in, and so you can get an idea of see what's going on in the businesses and see what you want to do. And that creates a culture of sharing. All right. So just to give you potential, we're a publicly traded company. Now, I love that we're publicly traded because it's a higher level of credibility, and there's no funny business to go on, because it's people lose their job if there is, right? So when you look at the company, there's some ranks down the side here, and those ranks are just based on the amount of product that sells every month. Just to give a little perspective, so a Pro 3 is someone that brings $5,000 of volume in a month, right? And that Pro 3 on average makes $630 a month, okay? To give you a little perspective, a Pro 4, someone that does 10,000 in volume going through their group a month, okay? Average Pro 4 is almost $1,500. The other day I was fishing with my dad and a buddy of his, and I was curious. I'd heard this statistic, but I wanted to know. I said, they're both Medicare and Social Security age. So what's your Social Security check, right? Just out of curiosity if they tell me. Guys, the average Social Security check is $1,400. That's the average, right? So I'm almost 50. Like I said before, I have to be 69 and a half before I ever collect anything. So in 7 years of doing this, I hit the rank of Pro 7 at 3 years. Okay, maintained it since. Average Pro 3, 13,000 a month. So someone asked me earlier this week, is it still real? Guys, it's absolutely real. Absolutely real. If you do the work, the potential is huge, but the relationships you will meet along the way, the lives that you can touch, are absolutely amazing. So these numbers are real, and that's monthly. The lady that introduced me to this, she's a Pro 9 with the company, well over 50,000 a month, right? And I said earlier, like, what would life, will you be ready when life happens to you? Well, I truly think everybody should build a network marketing business. One, so when life happens, they have finances that can help give them some time and some support. I remember when my mom passed away, like literally, like I was working that day and went right back to work. It was because I had to, right? I've watched other people that have a network marketing business that they have the finances put in place. But the other thing is the community that comes along with us to help you get through those times. I think everybody should have a network marketing business just for that. So people ask, can I do this? Well, guess what? You can. You got a huge support, worldwide customer distributor support, mobile app, artificial intelligence right there for you, education on both skill set, mindset, they're in there monthly, right? It's a phenomenal business model when done correctly. So I want to end with a couple of things. One, like, get your question answered, whatever they might be, right? Don't delay in starting the product. And just like the effects of stress are cumulative, the effects of doing the right things are cumulative. So I don't know what you're going to experience first and how quickly that's going to happen, but I truly do this preventatively. And there'll be some of you that is truly what you want to do. I do a lot of things preventatively. There's others of you that you already have a major health crisis and you want things to happen. Give it time, right? I say a minimum of 6 months to a year period, or that's critical for that. Because if you've had a problem for 10 years, you need to give it at least 10 months, if not longer. Like, your body needs that time to make that repair, okay? And number two, as you look at your year, at what it's been and maybe what you want it to be, and ask yourself this question: is what you're doing right now going to get you the time you want, the finances you want, the community you want, and the impact that you want? If it is right in alignment with all those things, fantastic. Keep going hard at it. If it's not, like, join us. and let's go impact this world in a positive way. You guys have a great night. Merry Christmas. God bless you.